What's up, everybody? It's the homie Truth Teller, the Street Reporter, and it's my 2020 year-end review. We in 2021. I had to let a couple days pass before I did this review because I wanted to touch on the topics that kind of really went trending. I didn't want to speak on everything because there's a whole bunch of shit happened in 2020. So we just gonna kind of speak on the drill culture and the shit that happened in the drill culture. So the first thing I want to start off is Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know, we seen them telling on people and shit like that. He got out of jail. A lot of people were saying shit like, man, I did the same shit Tekashi did. They tried to kill him, fuck his baby mama and all kind of shit. And then when he got out of jail, he didn't attack those people. He attacked rappers who were buzzing in the industry. He came back for revenge. He didn't look like a guy who was kind of salty or felt bad for the shit that he was doing. He didn't seem like a guy who did wrong and who came out like, fuck those niggas, I'm on my own shit to get money. He looked like a guy who came out and picked off exactly where he left off at. And that kind of concerned me because I'm not sure if Tekashi 6ix9ine realized that even though you playing these internet games, bro, you lucky to still be alive, coming to Chicago, disrespecting dead rappers. Somebody could have killed that brother. I'm surprised he didn't die, but I understand that he's an industry plant, so you got to understand he's real close friends with people who kind of control the music industry. He's not the guy you really want to beef with, you understand? So 6ix9ine kind of threw me off, but that shit happened with him was like one of the weirdest things ever happened. And then when the D-Rose shit came, now the D-Rose shit came, that was kind of like, people didn't really see the D-Rose shit because we seen what happened with Rondo and we seen what happened with Cdai. Now, when the D-Rose ended up losing this appeal, it looked like he gonna be locked up for 40-some years. A lot of people saying D-Rose didn't even do that shit, right? But this is the thing you got to understand. You think you gonna just go to the police station and say, excuse me, officer, he innocent, he didn't do it, somebody else did it. If you ain't finna have the person who did it come in there and say, I did it, and I'm willing to go to court and go to all these trials and file all these motions to get this innocent man out of jail, and I want to take his place. If ain't nobody finna do that shit, we wasting our time with this free D-Rose shit. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully he can win in this appeal, but them appeals cost a lot of money. And last time we heard from D-Rose, I actually interviewed the guy, and I asked him about Chief Keef and Lil Durk. My tongue kind of got twisted, so I asked him, do they call you? Even though he locked up, he understood what the fuck I meant. What I meant was, is they still in communication with you while you locked up? This is what he told me. So when I heard that, I was like, damn, it must be like some issues with 600 and like Glow Gang. It don't seem like they got enough unity. So I don't find it surprising that Cdai and that Rondo shit started coming, but we gonna speak on that later. In the blog and shit like that. The next thing I kind of want to speak on is the Lil Reese thing, because we seen Tim get shot in Country Club Hills, that's in Illinois somewhere. The footage went viral all over the internet. You got to understand, Lil Reese almost died. He almost lost his life. Even though he be on these blogs talking tough and shit like that, that guy was praying to God that he survived. You got to think about this shit. Buddy ass got shot in the neck, man. That shit went in his neck. He lost his voice, all kind of shit, and he's still here to live about the shit, to rap about the shit, to speak on his life. So I don't know if he looking at that shit as a good thing, if he looking at that shit as a bad thing, because once he survived, he got right back on the street on that tough guy shit. It's like, I don't know if he realized how famous he is. He like the most famous nigga, famous rapper in Chicago who still walk in the streets. Like, that nigga still get his loose squares for the same loose squares though. So I don't know if he realized that shit is real dangerous, but I'm glad that the brother survived. The next thing I want to talk about is the Rondo, Tay 600, and Cdai shit. That was confusing because everybody was calling Tay 600 a rat. That's been going on for a long time. He a rat, the paperwork, this, that. When the paperwork came out, people still ain't believe the paperwork. That shit fake, that's the field paperwork. I don't really know about that paperwork or none of that shit. Niggas called him a rat. And when you put that coat on the motherfucker, man, that means you trying to get that nigga killed. I felt like niggas was trying to get Tay 600 put in a body bag. Now when Cdai come out and say Rondo then did some backdoor shit, nobody gave a fuck about that shit. I don't see none of the rappers posting Snitch K no more. Nobody gave a fuck about that shit. Cdai one of the creators of Snitch K and he supported Rondo. He even posted up, don't believe the lies. What the fuck you talking about don't believe the lies? Your brother said the shit. So you telling us don't believe your brother? That's what I'm saying. The drill culture, that shit threw me off. But one thing I'm gonna say is I noticed that they don't got a lot of big homies. So what do you expect when it's a lot of young motherfuckers giving young people advice? Like, you going through some life change and shit, your life fucked up, and you go get some advice from an 18-year-old. Like, what the fuck did you really think was gonna happen by doing that? So I'm gonna pray for those people, because at the end of the day, Rondo was a young dude. Cdai was a young dude. So the fact that they did something while they was young and they gonna end up paying for that shit 30-some years from now, I think that is, man, that's traumatic. But, you know, it's hard to say free Rondo, free Cdai, and still say Black Lives Matter. You know, it's kind of hard, but it is what it is. You know, I hate to see anybody going through that struggle. You get what I'm saying? Next thing I want to speak on, man, is a rapper who was gone for a long-ass time, but he's a fixture in the drill community. Killer Kills. He ended up taking his time, man. He pled guilty to, I believe, like some drug charges and shit like that, man, and he took a 15-year sentence. I'm not sure if he got to do half of that, maybe 10 years of that. He's been gone for a long time. That's crazy, because I could have seen Killer Kills taking off, especially now that Duck gone and shit like that. You got to understand, he stamped. He might be like the leader of the drill movement. You got to understand, he was once cool with Lil Reese and him. He was once cool with Lamron and shit like that. And then something happened to his family, I guess, involving them niggas, and he kind of like fucked them niggas and got with some more niggas. You know, and they became insane, I guess, and, you know, they beefing with the niggas he was fucking with. It is what it is. But he had the background. He got a lot of hit songs too, man, that's in the millions of views, and people know him. So I felt like out of all the rappers who could pop out in this shit, that Killer Kills is one of the rappers who I believe could have popped off in this shit like FBG Duck did. He ended up getting locked up. Rico Reckless tried to help him and give him a little bit of the clout to kind of boost him up big and shit, but it kind of like didn't really work, because he ended up going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know Killer Kills. I wish the brother come home. I think he gonna come home on some OG shit though, because even though he was wild and reckless, you could talk to him. He was in interviews with Zach talking about how he talked to the other side, how he wanted to stop the violence. So I want to send out a free Killer Kills, man, and shout out Brick Squad, man, because y'all influential in the drill movement too. Next person I want to talk about, man, R.I.P. to Juice WRLD. What the fuck went on, Juice? What the fuck made you swallow the pills? What the fuck made you do all that shit, man? It got to be some snitch-ass motherfuckers said they was calling the police when you land, so you did what the fuck you had to do to get out that gym, but I wish you never did that shit, bro, because you was dope as hell, bro. You was the one that showed niggas Chicago niggas could rap, bro. It wasn't 600 Breezy. It wasn't Lil Durk. It wasn't Chief Keef. Yeah, those niggas could rap. They got the flow. But you showed niggas that don't nobody got to talk about killing people and all that shit, bro, to be a big artist, because you was huge, bro. I want to send an R.I.P. to you. I don't got nothing bad to say about Juice WRLD, man. R.I.P. to that, brother. Next thing I want to speak on is Chicago legends, because I ain't never thought I'd hear FBG Duck be shouting out niggas' names in a song. He talking about he's smoking all their ass. He can see them through the smoke. He can see them coming through the flow. And then he did a song shouting niggas out. I thought that was big for the culture. You get what I'm saying? I'm not sure if people took that shit that way. People probably took that shit as a clout chase, man. He know that video go do a lot of views if he do mention Fredo name and shit like that. Yeah, but I do think he had a legitimate reason for that shit. Even though he say it was business, I do think Duck realized that he was blowing up. He was getting in the music industry. He was seeing a lot of these artists at shows. I think he realized it's time to stop acting like a broke nigga when you made it and you got all this money. Why in the fuck you still out here beefing and acting like a broke nigga? I think FBG Duck understood that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why he dropped that song. Next thing I want to speak on, man, is a lot of people ain't really speak on this shit. This shit kind of floated under the covers. P. Rico getting shot. That was some shit that threw me off, man, because that brother almost lost his life. Shit bag on his stomach, all kind of shit on some crazy shit. I don't know exactly what happened. He spoke on it on the Drea show. I actually DM'd him, but he didn't really want to speak on that and talk about that shit. But it kind of seemed like he fell off. I don't want to say he fell off. I don't know if he take the music shit seriously. A lot of you people think that these rappers are famous. You got to remember, these niggas just live in the community. They smart enough to spend $20 and go to the studio and record for an hour, spend $100, get a video, upload it on a YouTube channel, and the shit go viral. That's why I say a lot of these niggas y'all look at as killers, gangsters, and thugs. I look at them as businessmen who just don't have the right mentorship around them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at this shit. Now, the next thing I want to speak on is the demise of 600, man. We seen 600 go through their shit with the beef with Tay 600, Rondo getting locked up, Cdai getting locked up, D-Rose getting locked up, E-Day kind of falling off, trying to diss Tay 600, not realizing the power of the young nigga. Little niggas don't play that shit, man. Them little niggas got on E-Day ass, man. And then we seen what happened like about 11 months ago with Dotarachi and Memo 600, man. And that kind of threw me off because that proved that it wasn't no loyalty in the crew. After Dotarachi got to beefing with Memo 600, he ended up doing an interview with Tay 600. And I thought that was weird too, bro, because you wasn't with him. Now all of a sudden you beefing with these niggas. Now Tay 600 ain't a rat. He didn't eat the cheese. I don't think he ate the cheese either. I don't know if he ate the cheese, because like I say, sometimes a nigga telling you and that shit don't be in the paperwork. I don't give a fuck what nobody talking about. Sometimes a nigga telling you and that shit don't be in the paperwork. But if you're going to accuse a motherfucker, that shit got to be in the paperwork. And that shit wasn't in the paperwork. But the fact that he went in on Dotarachi, that shit kind of threw me off, because Dotarachi linked up with Tay right after that shit. That's why I say they both was back doing each other, if you ask me. A damn blunt keep going out. I want to give an honorable mention to Pop Smoke, even though he ain't a part of the drill culture. I want to give an honorable mention to Pop Smoke. He ended up losing his life in Hollywood's Hills. He fucked around and gave his location out when he was posting on Instagram. If he would have really been a valid student of the Chicago drill culture, then you know when you on those lives and you on whatever the fuck you on, you can't give out your address, you can't show the name of your blocks. You got to be very vigilant on what you showing the fans, because not only is the fans watching, not only is the haters watching, the ops are watching. So bro ended up losing his life to some people he ain't even know, all because he gave out the Addy by mistake. So R.I.P. to the homie Pop Smoke, man. We miss you out here. Next person we're going to talk about is one of the dopest producers to come out of the drill culture, but for some strange reason, it seemed like he was drinking that motherfucking tobacco, that Hennessy, and got to getting crazy on that lives and shit. The homie Young Chop kind of clouded up this year, hit 1 million followers on Instagram. Video did 1 million in 5 days because he was on that internet exposing niggas, and I believe everything he was saying, because your favorite producers wasn't your favorite producers when Young Chop was out. He met those niggas when those niggas was coming up, handing him demo tapes. I believe him when he say niggas stole his wave and niggas copied his flow and did all that shit. I honestly believe that shit. Now, the beefing with like 21 Savage, that shit kind of threw me off, because I don't really know what the issue is between him and 21 Savage, but that kind of threw me off. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Young Chop. Next thing I want to speak on is when FBG Cass came out of jail and got sucker punched inside the mall while somebody was rapping for him and was filming that shit. And I'm surprised he didn't realize that this was the back door. You know, I thought FBG knew about the back door. I'm surprised he didn't realize that the moment this motherfucker was rapping and said something about hitting, somebody hit him. And then they filmed the shit, you know. It's no coincidence when you get in an altercation and that shit show up on the internet. It was set up before it even happened. You know, and I'm kind of happy though, man, because normally when Chicago rappers get caught lacking, it'd be a rest in peace video come after that. So the fact that he did that shit and only thing came was the punch, crazy. You know what I'm saying? I want to give an honorable mention to No Limit Wet Him Up too, man, because he was facing a crazy case. I think like 3-4 bodies, and he ended up beating them all and coming home. So we're going to give an honorable mention to No Limit Wet Him Up. That brother was gone for the rest of his life. They could have gave him a death penalty, put some juice in his arm or something like that. And, you know, the fact that he was able to beat those charges, we're going to have to give that a big up. I also want to give a big up to Trey Savage, man. R.I.P. to the homie. I talked to him a few times in the DM. We never conversated on the phone, never had a interview, but I did talk to him in the DM. Seemed like an outstanding dude. I'm not sure what happened in the streets with the nigga, but I didn't really hear him dissing the ops and on songs, dissing people and shit, so I'm not sure if that was some rap shit. I think that was some street shit that happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really see him in songs like that, but I guess, hey, when you link to somebody, a motherfucker take that shit out on your ass. You know what I'm saying? And if you get the hide, the motherfucker take shit out on your brothers, your sisters, your mama. So when it's beef, nigga, you gonna have to go meet a motherfucker on that beef. Another honorable mention to Go Yayo, kind of getting tough with Lil Reese and Tato and shit like that, But the main thing I really want to speak on this year is rappers dying. FBG Duck losing his life. We seen that shit, man. The man lost his life on his son's birthday. Like, how more sickening and dangerous is that? I'm kind of confused that he didn't realize he was that famous. So to try to take a quick trip and dip, I'm just surprised that he even, took those chances. But at the end of the day, when a nigga stay home, how the fuck can you blame a nigga? A lot of people be calling motherfuckers sellouts and shit. When a nigga didn't sell out, now he's stupid for that. And that kind of concerned me because Buddy had a rap deal. Buddy had a lot of money. Buddy had a lot of fame. He could have easily moved to Hollywood. He could have easily moved to Beverly Hills. He stayed because FBG and the whole crew wasn't where he was at. See, that's the one thing you niggas don't realize. This nigga had a rap deal with Sony Entertainment. He had on a chain that he said he bought from the jewelers, CB4. The nigga was in rap videos. He was well known, but he still lived in the hood because he was comfortable around his niggas. He was comfortable around his people. Just because he made it, he didn't feel like he made it because his niggas ain't make it. But he ended up losing his life, and that kind of concerned me because, I look at Duck as a nigga who lost his brother, lost his cousin, lost a lot of his friends, and the fact that he moved in a way that he know that he shouldn't move, that kind of threw me off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure exactly what made it happen like that, but we seen this shit happen with King Von too when he lost his life. Now King Von shit threw me off because everybody been begging for a knuckle up. Everybody keeps saying Chicago niggas got them guns, but he put them knuckles in the air and he got killed. And I didn't think King Von was trying to kill Rondo. If you watch that video, bro, he clearly walked up on him. It was police outside, security outside. They had a club, a hookah lounge, there's cameras everywhere. He got his entourage. It's hundreds of people outside. I don't think he was trying to catch a murder case. He was trying to put his knuckles on Quando Rondo's face. But what I don't think Von realized is that he was set up, bro. Whoever told you that Buddy was there set you up, bro. I didn't know if he didn't realize that the door was open. Quando was not asleep. He was standing in front of a car getting niggas on go. Soon he got punched. Niggas got out and got down on him. This was no surprise that Von all of a sudden had some detective information that Quando was there. No, motherfucker let him know that Quando was there so they can end that shit now. That's what happened when you looking for a motherfucker. A motherfucker say, let's end that shit. That's what happened, whether you want to believe that shit or not. We seen the Famous Dex and Lil Reese beef. Famous Dex recently just went into rehab. He looked like he was doing heroin on the video. I don't know what the fuck was up with Famous Dex. We gave him a pass with all the tattoos he been getting on his face and the little white shit on the side of his mouth. We just said, hey, that's Dex. But he got to looking like this. You know what I'm saying? The videos, motherfucker like, bro, Dex on that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? You look like Rich the Kid put him in that shit. Put him in rehab. But Rich the Kid, you should be ashamed of yourself what the fuck you did to Famous Dex, bro. Famous Dex was once bigger than Lil Uzi Vert, 6ix9ine, Lil Skies, all these people, man. You done raped all this streaming money. It's YouTube money. It's Spotify money. It's Apple money. It's iTunes money. And you giving them crumbs, man. Famous Dex should be a millionaire. He was famous than you, bro. Like real shit, and that's what threw me out with Famous Dex. He signed to a nigga he was way more famous. Rich the Kid handled his career the wrong way because Famous Dex got videos in the 50 million views, 100 million views, tens of million views. But his pockets don't look like that shit, and I ain't pocket watching a nigga, but it don't really look like his pockets was on point. Billionaire Black, I'm not really understanding why in the fuck you robbed Rizzo because of some shit with Cdai Baby. That kind of seemed like an excuse to be on some thirsty shit, but it is what it is. That's some street shit, and if you in the streets, you understand that. But Billionaire Black seemed like he taking a torch from Duck. He ended up robbing Sauce Walka artist, which was confusing because Sauce Walka kind of got a relationship with King Yella. They know about Sauce Walka family being in Chicago and shit like that, so that kind of threw me off why they would do that. But allegedly he making songs with Cdai Baby, and Cdai Baby letting King Von diss people in his songs, which they call a drive-by. So, I guess it's beef through affiliation or whatever the fuck you want to call that shit, Now Another thing I want to speak on is Just Blow, man, catching a murder case, facing 45 to 65 years on the lick. They say he did some thirsty shit. He shot a motherfucker with a shotgun because they posted some money on Instagram and he wanted it. Now, that's what the police is alleging. He went on the ground before he got locked up and said it's snitches and all kind of shit like that, which is confusing because if you don't know what the fuck you having, you should just be saying, motherfucker lying on me. You saying this snitching? Like, who the fuck are they snitching on? You don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So that's another thing that confused me with this shit. Soon a nigga catch a case, they run to this internet with this shit. I'm not telling the internet about what the fuck I got going on in my real life. And the fact that he's doing that shit, don't know that the police is watching that shit and he's saying people is snitching. How can they snitch on an innocent person? So, Blow, if you do get a chance to check this video out, let your lawyer do your talking. You ain't got to speak or none of that shit, man. Let the case play out. But trying to play this shit for these internet fans, that shit ain't where it's at. So the overall theme I really want to say on the 2020 was, it was a bad year for rappers. It seemed like the industry didn't let the wrong niggas in the rap game. It used to be niggas who was talented. If you could rap, if you could dance, if you could sing, you could do both, a nigga will put you in the industry.